Yeah, g'day YouTubers. Tinker O'Toole again here with another video. Today I'm just going to talk about when to change your spark plug. Well, normally I change it once a year. When wood season is over, I generally do the maintenance. I've got plenty of time to do maintenance on the saw, check the clutch, tune the carburetor, and change the spark plug, whether it needs it or not. That's what I generally do, so that I don't have problems out there in the field. Spark plugs aren't that expensive. So now the other thing is, with this particular saw I was using, it's an MS180C, so it's a good little saw for cutting small limbs. It starts up perfect, but it hesitates a little bit on the throttle. Yeah, sure, I've adjusted the high and the low and the idle. It really does start exceptionally well. Usually on the first or second pull, it'll pop, and then it'll start first or second pull after that there. And it normally doesn't have perfect trigger response. So naturally I thought it was the high and the low need adjusting. So normally what I did, these have the restrictors in them. So what I did was close them and back them off roughly about halfway. The high has about 3/4 of a turn and the low almost has a full turn. So they've got the restrictors in them. And I generally try to have them about halfway. Don't have your high, sorry, this is your high over here. Don't have your high turned up too lean. It'll mean that we'll over rev and it'll get too hot. Don't have your low too lean. It will mean that it doesn't get enough fuel. When you turn the screw clockwise, especially on the high, you're cutting off the fuel. The more fuel it gets in there, it will rev higher. So you don't want to cut too much fuel off. That's why I'm a little bit cautious about making it a little bit lean. You can put a tachometer on there. So if you put a tacho on here, you'd be looking for around about 12,500 RPM. Don't let the saw rev any higher than that. It'll get too hot and you can get scoring on the piston. So try and back off the high and don't screw it in as much. That's why they put the limiters on a lot of the new saws. This has the limiters on it. And it sort of avoids people screwing them right up, thinking that they're doing the right thing. In actual fact, they're doing more harm. So that's pretty much it. On the low, it's the same thing. Low, I always go roughly in the middle between clockwise and anti-clockwise. As I say, on a lot of them, there's between anywhere from a half a turn, same as the weed whackers and some of the other stuff that still sell. With the limiters in there, then you are limited between clockwise and anti-clockwise. So I try and go roughly in the middle, and then maybe try and fine tune a little tiny bit, maybe an eighth of a turn from that point. And that's about it. So yeah, look, if you've got problems with your carburetor, it could be a number, or if you've got problems with your saw, it's a little bit poor throttle response. It can be a number of things. Even throttle response, you could even your coil, if your coil's playing up or something there, that can give you little run-in problems as well. Doesn't accelerate as good as it should. First thing and the cheapest thing, apart from taking it to a steel dealer, is to change the spark plug. It's a relatively cheap option. Change the spark plug, close both of these and back them off roughly in the midway position. Make sure your idle's turned up, that it's going to idle properly. If you've still got problems, the carburetor may need to be stripped down and cleaned, or you might have to put a kit in it. The other thing that also can happen with poor running or even poor starting is that your coil can deteriorate. I've had it happen. I've changed 2 coils in the last couple of years, and one of them just went completely dead, which is the best way to go because it's easy to find that out. But the other one took a number of years, and it just slowly deteriorated to the point where it just made it very difficult to start. So I always thought, oh, maybe it's a carburetor, and I brought another carburetor for it as well. So you can be unlucky, you know. You can have the saw that was made on Friday. So this saw here has given me great service. I've had it for about 3.5 to 4 years, and it's really been faultless. And I just had a little problem with it accelerating, not too much. Once it was warmed up, it performed perfect, and I thought, oh, I'll change the spark plug. As soon as I changed the spark plug, it performed 100% better. So it's just a little tip that if things aren't running properly, do yourself a favour, put another spark plug in there. If it doesn't work, you can always take the brand new spark plug, put it back in its packet, and use the existing spark plug that's in there. It's just a little bit of a tip. It's only a couple of minutes to try and find out whether the saw needs a new spark plug or whether the new spark plug improves the running. A lot of the times also with a spark plug, you'll find out when the saw's loaded up really high that it doesn't perform. And the other thing that can happen when a spark plug, when the motor warms up, the spark plug can start to deteriorate. So yeah, bear in mind that spark plugs don't last forever, and a good maintenance, especially on a 2-stroke, not so much on a 4-stroke, but especially on a 2-stroke, change your spark plugs a little bit more regularly than what's recommended. And it sort of almost guarantees that that's one problem that you're eliminating. Only the other second problem, make sure that you get you clean your air filters. If you don't have a compressor, wash them in water, soapy water, let them dry out. That's another thing. You don't want to be running chainsaws with all clogged up with sawdust. That doesn't make them run very good either. And the only other thing that I do every time that I use the chainsaw, always use compressed air to blow it out. Don't use liquids to wash it, because that stains all the plastic on the inside and can create it all gummy. Using kerosene or petroleum to wash it is more of a bigger problem. The only time that I would ever use kerosene or some is if I take the cover off here and there's all oil and it's all gummed up here. That's about the only spot. But all in here, under the cover, all around there, use compressed air and a paintbrush to brush off the rubbish if you don't have compressed air. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.